how much does it actually cost to sell a home, and what are the steps? All right, so the first step is you've already made your mind up and you want to sell. Step number 2, you need to interview agents. Then you should ask them a series of questions that fit your needs. How fast can you sell it? How much can we get? What's your marketing strategy? What are you going to do different than this person? Why should we pick you? Are you going to answer the phone on Sunday? Are you going to answer the phone at night? Can I text you whenever? Are you going to update us? Etc. You need a plan and then interview an agent and truly interview them. Then the agent's going to tell you what he believes the price of your home should be, and you should do research too. And essentially how you do that is 1 mile radius of your home, if not 2 or 3 depending on where you're at, and you're looking for similar homes that have sold in the past 6 months. Similar layouts, same bed count, and 200 more or less on the square footage. Those are your comps. You should find the value of your home, and you should see if the real estate agent matches that value or is a little higher. Now, if you want to be even more secure, this is what I would do as an agent. You could do it as a seller. You could pay for a pre-appraisal report and have an appraiser actually tell you the value of your home. Then you go to market and you hit a home run. So after interviewing agents, understanding what you believe the value of your home is and what they believe the value of your home is, you pick an agent. And then the agent would do his or her thing by taking pictures, videos, 3D tours, drone shots, the whole 9 yards. And that's of course after you sign your listing agreement. And that's just basically saying, hey, we work together. You are the boss in this relationship. I work for you as an agent. You call the shots. I do what you want. You just can't be racist. You can't discriminate, and you have to just allow things to happen. That's essentially what the listing agreement says. So now after the listing agreement is signed, they take pictures and hit market. You should be doing seller property questionnaires and transfer disclosure statements and just a bunch of disclosures. You just have to tell everything you know about the property in there. And I know this is the boring part, but at the end of this video, I'm going to explain how much it's actually going to cost. I'm breaking down the steps to get there. After doing the disclosures, you just get out of the way and you let the agent do the agent's job. Then once the agent gets an offer, the agent will present it and you guys go over the best strategy to get the most dollar or whatever your goal is at the end. Once you guys open escrow, it's still mostly on the buyer. You have to wait for the buyer to get the EMD in. You have to open your door so they can do an investigation. You have to open the door so they can do an appraisal. Your agent should do it, but I'm just saying like your home has to be accessible. Those are the 2 main things that you're really gonna have to open the door for because that's part of the contract. And for reference, you are the seller in this situation, so you pick services such as escrow, title, NHD, and all the other things. And as a seller in a transaction, your life is relatively easy compared to a buyer because a buyer has so many moving parts they have to do: investigation, appraisal, final walkthroughs, the whole 9 yards. A seller just has their house up, kicks back, and gets a check at the end. So here comes the cost. Say your house is $500,000, and say you agree to 5% commission, which is $25,000. And typically how that works, but it may change in the future, is it's half and half. The buyer's agent gets 2.5 and the selling agent gets 2.5. So essentially the buyer is paying the seller the seller's price, and the seller is paying the listing agent their commission. The listing agent is paying the buyer's agent their commission. That's how it breaks down. So when sellers say, I'm paying for all the commission, no, the buyer is actually paying for the commission. And if you even want to go back farther, the bank is paying for everybody's commission because most of the time people aren't putting 50% down. Most of the time it's 3.5. So instantly with the commissions, you're down 25,000. But that's just the cost to do business because there is a lot of headache in this. There's a lot of paperwork, a lot of negotiations. There is a lot to being an agent that people just don't see, and that's fine. And then you also have title fees. And basically what title is going to do is make sure that the title is clear. There's no liens on it or anything of that nature, so it can transfer to the new owner and not have any headaches. That's about $2,000 to $2,500 because that's saying, hey, my home is good. Don't worry, buyer. I got you. I will even put my money where my mouth is. Now you have escrow fees, and that's typically each party pays their own. The difference between escrow and title: escrow focuses on making that transaction whole, and title focuses on ownership. Escrow fees at $500,000 for each side is probably going to be $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. And then you have like My NHD, and that's a national hazard disclosure packet. That's nothing to be scared of. That just comes in every sale, and that is the seller's responsibility too, because that's basically saying I'm making sure that there's nothing hazardous on this house. And let's just say you can expect to pay a couple $100s for that. And anything else that comes under contract, let's say if you agree to termites, either they pay or you pay. Each deal is structured differently, so it's important to have your agent explain that to you. And this is why it's important to have a good agent. So if you sold your house for $500,000 at 5% commission and paid, your standard of closing costs, you would walk away with $470,000. Now, if that's a primary residence and you've lived there over 3+ years, I would conservatively say 5, you get all that money tax-free. Mind-blowing.